The question I've been getting a lot lately is, what should we expect in the housing market in 2025? Well, let's discuss that. Real quick though, before we do get started, I just want to make sure that you're aware that I do have a free gift that I want to leave with you later on in this video. Okay, so first, if we look back at 2024, the housing market was definitely, it was interesting. Looking here at the purple line on this graph, you can see that the inventory of homes that were for sale here in the Inland Empire, well, we started the year 2024 pretty low. We started with actually less inventory than we had the year before in 2023, which you can see by the blue line. But in 2024, the inventory, it did grow. In fact, we actually finished the year with a higher number of inventory than we had for the previous 3 years, but just below still what we had for the 3-year average prior to the 2020 COVID housing market, which you can see represented by the green line. Mortgage rates definitely climbed in 2024 also. Not as much as we saw the year before in 2023 when, if you remember, rates got up and over 8% that year. But they did go up. I mean, we started 2024 with rates at just over 6.5%. We did go over 7% just for a bit during the spring months. And then for a brief moment, the rates actually got down to about 6%. Even had some of us thinking we might get below 6%, but unfortunately that didn't happen. And we ended up starting this year, 2025, right about 6.91%. Hey, real quick, if this is your first time here, my name's Jose and I am your SoCal realtor. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, don't hesitate to reach out. My team and I, we've helped many people just like you, and we're here and ready to help you with your real estate needs too. But enough about that. Let's get back to the video. I know last year's data is not what brought you to the video. You want to know what's going to happen this year in 2025, right?
How did you guess?
Obviously, mortgage rates are going to have a pretty big influence on what happens in the housing market. And according to Fannie Mae, they see rates getting down to about 6.2% this year, whereas the Mortgage Bankers Association, they're forecasting rates to get down to about 6.4%. And Wells Fargo, they're forecasting us to see rates down at about 6.3%. Obviously, if they're all three right, it is an improvement, not as much as we'd like. I mean, it's not down below 6% as like we'd all love to see, but it is an improvement over the 6.91% that we started the year with.
I know.
Hear him out.
With a slight easing in mortgage rates, in other words, an improvement, they're coming down a little bit. Experts, they are forecasting us to see home prices to continue going upward a little bit. Just being honest with you, not necessarily a lot, but again, they are expecting us to see home prices go up a little bit this year. Looking here at this chart, you can see that all the major financial institution home price appreciation forecasts, well, the average of all 21 forecasts, we're expecting to see about a 2.9% increase in home prices for 2025. So if we go by the average projection of 2.9%, that means that if your home value was $600,000 at the start of January 2025, at a 2.9% price increase, that's an increase of $17,400, or in other words, a new home value or home price of $617,400 on December 31st of 2025. Not bad, right? And before we go any further, I want to address another question I do get quite a bit. In fact, actually, it might even be one that you've thought about, and that is, what about foreclosures? I mean, it's what I should wait for, right? They are coming, aren't they? I know, you hear it all the time. In fact, there's plenty of YouTube channels that all promote, this is the year, doom and gloom. But haven't they been saying that for like the last few years now, that this is the year, this is it, foreclosures, they're about to just completely go through the roof? Here's my response to that. First, if you look here at this chart, you can see that we haven't even come close to a foreclosure wave, because what this chart shows is where home sales have been coming from, going all the way back to 2008 for here in the Inland Empire. And if you look at the orange line, this represents all the foreclosure sales during that time. The green line, that's the short sales, and the purple line represents the standard, I have equity in my house, I'm ready to sell sales. My point here though is just that how small of a percentage of homes that have come from people that are selling due to a foreclosure or a short sale. These numbers here are national numbers, but the reason for such a small percentage of distressed sales, the short sales and foreclosure sales, well, the delinquency rate for mortgage holders, it's still current below the national average during the years of 2000 to 2005, which were good years. That was before the whole housing market crash. And this chart here, it shows the total number of distressed listings, meaning homes that are in, again, a foreclosure sale or a short sale that are here local, here in the Inland Empire. And as you can see, we have continued to remain below the number of distressed sales, distressed listings that we were seeing between 2017 and 2020. The normal years before the pandemic changed the housing market. The thing I really want to stress here, though, is that if you go back to 2012, which is, well, the beginning of this chart, but this was the last full year of the big wave of foreclosures from that whole 2008 housing crash that we had. That's obviously still on quite a few people's mind, but that's a pretty big difference from where we're currently at. Will we see more foreclosures in 2025? Honestly, and unfortunately, I really do believe we will. Not as necessarily a significant amount. Honestly, what I'm kind of expecting us to see is those numbers to get a little bit more in line with what we were seeing between 2017 and 2020. But for foreclosures to have any real significant impact on home values, they would have to get a lot closer to the number that we saw back in 2012. Now, experts, they are forecasting for us to see the number of home sales to increase this year, above what we saw back in 2024. They're projecting an increase in home sales of somewhere between 8 and 10% that we should see here this year in 2025. That's not to say that homes are just gonna, sell overnight, fly off the shelves this year. At least I don't see that happening anyway. I mean, looking here at this chart, you can see by the purple line that the average time on market, meaning just simply how long it took a home to go up for sale and ultimately get into escrow, we closed out last year, 2024, with a higher time on market than we saw during the previous 3 years, as well as the 3-year average. Again, the quote-unquote normal housing market, which was 2017 through 2019, and that is depicted by the green line. But again, if the projections by the experts is correct, or even just close to being correct, then home prices aren't coming down. Not with demand expected to remain healthy. And hear me when I say that, I'm not saying super strong demand. It's not going to be the long lines outside of homes that we saw, like 3-4 years ago, but I am saying healthy. Of course, if interest rates were to go back up again to, 7.5%, 8%, then yeah, obviously that's going to affect demand. But as long as we don't see that, and well, as you just saw in the chart a moment ago, the projections are rates are going to go the other direction. They're expected to go down this year. Well, then it definitely sounds like the housing market's going to continue going in a healthy or the right direction this year in 2025. Meaning home prices are expected to continue going up, but at a healthy pace. As I mentioned back at the beginning of the video, I do have a free gift for you. However, I actually have 2 free gifts for you, and that is my free home buyer's guide as well as my free home seller's guide. Both are packed with a ton of information. Both are designed to help you take the next step to successfully buy or sell your home. You can download both free guides. The link to download them is in the description section below. If you do have any questions at all, or if you are thinking about buying or selling a home, don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, until then, catch you on the next one.